welcome to a new video. In this video I'm going to show you how to make ramen that is vegan and delicious, and even if you're not vegan you will love this recipe. So we used to go to a vegan ramen place in Melbourne and it was amazing, but unfortunately they closed down, so I decided to take this opportunity to learn how to make it myself, and this recipe is incredible. It's a really great depth of flavor. It doesn't use a whole lot of ingredients, so I wasn't super discouraged making it, because sometimes when you look at a pho recipe or even any other vegan ramen recipe, it's just there's so many ingredients, whereas most of this flavor comes from the mushrooms that you use and the ginger. And I'm not a huge mushroom fan, but this recipe, you don't even really taste well, you taste a mushroomy flavor, but it's not like typical mushrooms. I don't know if that makes sense. But it's a delicious, delicious recipe, and the noodles that I use only have wheat flour, salt, and water, which is amazing because a lot of the noodles that you buy, well, first of all, a noodle really makes or breaks a ramen dish, I feel. So you have to have really good noodles. And these ones that I found were just in Coles. So if you live in Australia, definitely recommend trying out these noodles. They don't have any additives or weird like emulsifiers or anything in them. So I would definitely recommend those noodles. And yeah, it's super simple recipe. You just literally chuck everything into a pot, let it cook, and then drain it and it's ready. So I hope you like this video. So as usual, all the ingredients for this recipe will be in the description down below. So for this recipe, you're going to need 1 tablespoon of neutral flavored oil, 5 or so cloves of garlic, roughly chopped, 1 3-inch piece of ginger, peeled and diced, 1 medium onion, chopped up, 6 cups of vegetable broth, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce or tamari, I use tamari, 14 grams of dried shiitake mushrooms, 1 tablespoon of white or yellow miso paste, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, and 230 grams of ramen noodles. And these are the noodles that I like to use. So they're awesome because they don't have any preservatives or anything, and the texture is amazing. And for the topping, I like to use some corn, some edamame beans, a sprinkle of sesame seeds, some bok choy, some nori sheets cut into nice squares, and some enoki mushrooms. And I also like to have some protein there as well, so I'll fry like a little bit of tofu in some teriyaki sauce. And you can use whatever you want though. You can use spring onions as well, whatever you like to put on top of your ramen usually. And then to start, you're just going to chop up the onion. It doesn't have to be super precise because you're just going to be chucking it in the pot anyway and draining it. So the onion, the garlic, and the ginger. And then I'm just adding the oil here. I ended up adding a little bit more than 1 tablespoon, just like a tablespoon and a half. And this is just neutral flavored oil, so I just use grapeseed oil. And then this is the sesame oil here as well. And then you're just going to fry all of that together with the ginger and garlic and onion until it's nice and translucent and fragrant. And for my vegetable broth, I'm just dissolving 3 stock cubes in 6 cups of water. So dissolving those stock cubes and then adding it to the onion, ginger and garlic. Then you're going to add the dried shiitake mushrooms and the tamari and give it a stir and bring it to a gentle boil. And I haven't forgotten the miso paste. Don't worry, we add that right at the end. So once it's been brought to a gentle boil, put the lid on, make sure the heat is on low, and cook it for a minimum of 1 hour. Although the longer you cook it, the more flavor it will have. So after an hour, you can add the miso paste, and you'll notice that the broth has started to reduce quite a lot. That's okay. It's just a really super condensed flavor explosion there. So you can also, what I like to do is it's quite a strong flavor, so I add some boiling water to it. Just add it depending on your taste preferences. And then from there I add the noodles. So the noodles cook for roughly 3 minutes. And then you drain the broth. Make sure you've got a bowl underneath your sieve so you don't lose all of that beautiful broth. and you let that sit for a little bit, and then you discard the onions and everything that was there. And then I'm just going to cook the teriyaki tofu. So this is totally optional. I just really love having the tofu there in the ramen dish. And that's when I start to plate up. So I'll add all of the toppings that I love, and then it's ready to eat. And it's a delicious broth, super full of flavor, and it's really warming and lovely. Enjoyed watching, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.